Cancel culture is real. Cross-Politic is on the front lines of this battle with the goal of creating a Christian television network and platform where we can't be canceled and where content creators will have the freedom to glorify God. Our goal is to create a space for like-minded businesses to thrive on this platform and to reach an audience that will not only buy your products and services, but also support your business when the heat of cancel culture comes your way. We want our platform to help you create an anti-fragile business as we bring together Christians from all over the world to tune in. With millions of downloads a year, access to DirecTV, Xfinity, and social media outlets, we are excited to partner with you. So, if you own a business and believe in this vision, then you need to call me. I'm Garrison Hardy, and I am the Business Development Rep at Cross-Politic and the Fight Laugh Feast Network. We are looking for businesses, large or small, that not only have great products and services, but also understand that the cultural battle that is impacting the business climate here and now. I have a background in marketing, and I'd love to help you advertise your business on Cross-Politic. Give me a call at 208-792-1290 or email me at garrison@fightlaughfeast.com.
You got to start the music.
We're doing a show.
It's the Midweek Fix. Welcome to Cross-Politic. Pastor Toby Chuck Knox. I'm the Water Boy. It's good to be with you guys on our new time, 7 p.m.
This is a different Pastor Toby, too.
7 p.m.
He totally looks no nonsense right now.
He's ready.
I'm drinking out of Gabe's cup.
Not Tony's? You aren't drinking out of Tony's?
No, I'm just drinking out of Gabe's cup. I don't even care.
Usually he's drinking like
coffee. I don't even care.
Now, folks, we've been telling you this for the last month that we are being disciplined by YouTube right now. We are not on.
We are not being disciplined by YouTube.
We are. We're canceled on YouTube until November. That's right. Lie. And so we're not on. We're suspended from YouTube until November. So we're really encouraging you guys. I think this next year there's going to be a significant uptick in big tech going after conservatives. I really do. I started a Fight Laugh Feast Telegram account for us, so you can get on Telegram and go to Fight Laugh Feast.
I don't like Telegram.
Family.
I'm just gonna tell you right now.
Yeah,
I like it.
I like it.
I was on there. I didn't like it. This is weird.
No, you got to get on there.
It's weird.
I haven't even told you about all the stuff I've been doing.
Oh no.
And but the other thing is, download our app. Download our app. Get it. Can I finish an introduction? Go to your App Store, type in Fight Laugh Feast or type in Cross-Politic. Download our app. Those are great ways to communicate and then our email list. I would say our email list. Go to our website, sign up for our email list. Trying to figure out the best we can to not be totally deplatformed in this cancel culture world. And so we're kind of building our own infrastructure. And so those are great ways for you guys to kind of connect with us and everything. You guys got anything to add on that?
No,
this is America, and in America, everybody can eat.
That's what I want to add.
Yeah. Everybody can eat.
That's right.
That really happened. Okay. So
you're right. That did.
It really did happen. It's crazy. That's not just a stinger. That really did happen.
That's real life in New York.
Earlier today, I was watching our emergency show that we did last year.
Yeah.
I got arrested on Wednesday, the 23rd.
As Gabe does every Wednesday.
Every Wednesdays. And then
ladies and gentlemen, I've been dumb.
Hey.
And then as soon as I got out of jail, I called Knox. After I called my wife, of course, I called Knox, and Knox is like, "Get in the studio." Right. And so you were walking down the street. I was walking down the street because I didn't have my car at the jail cell, right? And so we walk over to the studio and recorded this emergency. And if you haven't seen it yet, I really go back and watch that whole show. But there's one point where kind of talking through the video of me being arrested and people gathering around, and what the cops were, how they're interacting with us as they're trying to put me into the police car. And Toby comes up and just starts rebuking the officer. He said, "You were wrong, officer," and it was really respectful and really good. And then we paused the chalk talk, and Darren said, he's like, "This is why I moved to Idaho.
Yeah,
this is why I got out of LA, is because I have a pastor that's got my back." I got, he said, "What church leadership nationwide has your back?" He said, "I don't know. I didn't have it in L.A.
That's
why I moved to Moscow.
You know, I remember when Darren, I think I even said this on the show. I said, you told me like 7 years ago that I want to move somewhere where when it goes down, I know somebody's going to have my back. And I was thinking, what are you talking about? Like, I wasn't there. I wasn't where he was at. And he saw it coming a long time ago.
Yep. So anyways, really good stuff. Go check out that old emergency fund video. We need to make sure that our laptops are not
dinging on the show dinging. Because that'd be
okay. So the last couple weeks, I've been thinking about kind of the whole medical industrial complex related to the COVID pandemic, and an article actually came out on Stat News, STATnews.com. I reported this in our daily news brief this week, and they kind of gathered. Congress set up kind of almost a $200 billion fund in 2020 to kind of help mitigate the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic. And so here's on your screen here, here's kind of the top 10 medical hospitals that received money from this pot. So look at New York City Healthcare and Hospital Corporation. Well, they received $2 billion or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you see I think the number 3. Oh, no, the New York area city hospitals, together, they received $3.1 billion.
Okay.
That's the New York City area hospitals and health systems. I think that's all combined, yeah. And then the New York and Presbyterian Hospital.
Oh, man.
I know. They received $631 million.
They're not rowdy Presbyterians.
They are not. And they're
neutered
USA,
Presbyterians.
PC USA.
And,
sure.
And $1.2 billion just went to the, just to the Health and Hospital Corporation of New York City, just that specific hospital. So they got $1.2 billion. But you kind of go down this list. What I did was, and you'll follow the link in the show notes. When you guys get the show notes, follow the link, and you can look at your hospitals in your state, in Arizona, wherever you're at. I went to Moscow, Idaho, which is where we live. And our hospital has received over $5 million during the pandemic. And keep in mind, to be more exact, about 5.5. And keep in mind, like, our hospital has never claimed it's been overwhelmed.
Oh, it's claimed that.
Never. No, it hadn't claimed that.
It set up a tent out in the parking lot.
Now, it did set up a tent. No, it did do that.
That was empty.
But it was empty
for 6 months.
For 6 months. And never claimed it was overwhelmed. They set up as a precautionary measure.
Yeah.
Okay.
But North Idaho has claimed that they're short of beds.
And Coeur d'Alene, right? And we've talked about this on the show where that definition of being short of beds is connected to how many staff you have on.
Right.
And most of our hospitals here in Idaho had cut about 20 to 30% of their hospital staff when the pandemic started because we're in a pandemic. And
when you're in a pandemic, you don't need as many people.
Yeah, it's weird.
Helping you.
You fire. And,
I think that's a Sandsdemic, right? That's the...
Yeah, something like that.
Anyways.
So you can go, I really encourage you, go to statsnews.com or follow the show note links, and you can go and look at all the hospitals in your region and all the money.
St. Luke's in Boise made $70 million. St. Luke's Magic Valley Regional made $36 million. St. Alfonso's Regional Medical Center in Boise, $17 million. Those are the top 3 in Idaho.
Well, and it just goes on. So Idaho's probably received, some sort of millions and billions of dollars from the government during a pandemic. Now, what didn't make sense to me in all this was, isn't it, if you're in their shoes using their logic, and you're in a pandemic, your hospitals are overwhelmed. Well, if you have more demand for your services, clients coming in the door, shouldn't you be making more money and not need government support?
Wait. Ask that again.
If you're in a pandemic,
business is good.
Business is good. You got more demand coming in your doors. You should be making more money than you ever had because of so much demand. Shouldn't you not need government checks and government funding?
But couldn't it would depend on whether or not the people who are coming in have a certain type of ability to be able to pay for the services that they're getting. It could be a certain group of people.
But you have Obamacare now. Everyone can get insurance.
Well, that's how you're getting government money.
No. This is extra. This pocket of money that they receive is on top of Obamacare insurance or any other insurance that they would receive.
But another factor, Gabe, is the fact that you didn't actually have hospitals getting slammed.
I don't believe you.
It's true. Also, the industry that was hit the hardest and had the most layoffs was the healthcare industry, because not only were they told there was going to be a pandemic,
That's right.
Which never actually
Materialized.
materialized.
Yeah.
All these empty tents.
Right.
And aircraft carriers and things.
Yep.
But they canceled all the other services that they usually do.
So then,
And so there really was, I think, a massive deficit in the healthcare industry. I mean, they were laying people off because they didn't need the nurses because they weren't doing cancer screenings and they weren't doing your regular, your non-essential
surgical
whatever
surgeries.
but do you think the hospitals got hit harder than everybody else in that then?
But that's, I mean, at least.
What do you mean hit hard by
based
what?
on layoffs?
Well, I mean, if
Based on layoffs, they got hit hard.
Based on layoffs, because didn't you say that the industry that was hit the hardest was
top two industries after March 2020 that lost the most jobs were the restaurant industries and the medical industries.
Right.
The top two.
Right.
And I think the medical was number one at one point.
So part of this is hard. It's hard to. I don't know how hospital budgets work, and it's part of the problem is that you have so many government tapeworms,
tentacles
in the maybe tentacles is a little bit nicer way of saying.
Well, they probably are tapeworms. No, you're probably right.
But they're up in all of this, and so it's like you've got Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, Obamacare,
then insurance companies
that are also getting money from the government,
COVID relief money,
right. And it looks bad,
right?
It looks awful in a certain way, and at the same time, it's like they did get hit hard.
Yeah, I wonder what the stipulation was in order to be able to get the money.
Right.
Like, what kind of situation do you have to be in order to be able to get that kind of money? Because they're not getting the same amount of money.
You can actually, so on this website, you can click on it, and you can select your state, and it goes like all the way down to like in one place in Washington. So the highest one in Washington State is in Tacoma. Multicare Health System of Tacoma took in $277 million. And then if you can click it and reverse the amounts all the way down to, I'm just going to read randomly.
Yeah.
Dino Lucas of Walla Walla.
Oh, poor guy.
Sorry, Dino.
So you just
You got random.
No, Providence.
Got $3.
That's funny.
Toothbrush?
$3
From this COVID relief fund
From
that
the
Stat
COVID
News
relief
is
fund.
following.
Right.
Yeah.
So for a toothbrush.
$3.
All right.
Yeah, probably.
And some toothpaste or something like that?
Probably.
Maybe floss. That's probably what floss
is
was.
that an essential service? I mean, but so like my answer to your question though is how do you get this? I mean, like some of these people might guess how do you get a check for $3?
Yeah.
I mean,
maybe it was what was left of what he needed to pay off or something like that. He forgot $3, and so
I don't know.
So the hospital collected on his behalf or something.
Concerto Medical Group of Washington in Linwood, Washington, got $5.
But if this is government money, don't we have the right to know how much money?
Well, that's why it's here. I guess that's why it's.
But we don't know why Dino got $3.
Yeah, why did Dino get $3? But I mean, I can't imagine him like filling out an application form for $3.
I really need this floss.
I covered
right now.
everything but my toothbrush. And put in his receipt and clicking it, and then like put it in the mailbox and sending it.
The stamp costs more.
I'm thinking like I'm guessing there was some kind of like slush fund or something like that was like, hey, let's just send this out to everybody that has ever
real
received
talk.
any.
Yeah, it does, but it also feels like laundering. Like it feels like just how you launder money.
Yeah. You get enough Dinos getting $3. Well, you got a lot of money now.
How much we got left? We got 35. Get 5 to Tommy.
Yeah,
give 3 to Dino.
You remember you used to get letters in the mail a long time ago when they'd put $1 in. Now you need to send $10 to these people, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah. Pyramid scheme.
Yeah, that's what kind of feels.
I made a lot of money off them.
But all this.
I'm just saying.
They all ended up at the same address with different names to Knox. Is that what it is? But here's where the conversation goes for me is this to me makes a little sense behind why the hospitals won't speak out.
Yeah.
Our hospital here in town has not said a thing about the antibodies. Yeah. Zero, zilch, zip. Right. Our hospital in town has not said anything about pre-treatments.
Right.
Hey, if you get COVID, go get some vitamin D, get some vitamin B, try, do some of these pre-treatments that we know tend to help boost your immune system.
Right.
You haven't heard anything about that. And then they haven't said anything about how there's no data behind public masking.
Well,
nothing.
It's not. I don't.
And
think
so, but they're doing this because of all the government funding that's pouring into their hospitals, and they know if they speak out against the government, well, we lose, anything from, our hospitals. Like this, is like 6% of the budget that they had.
Yeah.
Well, some hospitals is probably like 20-30% when you're getting $300 million.
Well, Well, and yeah,
We don't know how much of the percent of budget is for Dino.
Well, Pastor, you were talking about this earlier, and you were like, somebody's got to run the other play where they're like, okay, because obviously this is already a socialistic market. Something's going on here that's not inside of a form of capitalism, because we don't know how this is. We can't even make sense of how this thing is operating.
Right.
But also, too, you were talking about the fact that why come nobody's running the other play? Why come nobody's saying, you know what, we're going to take our bet in a private market that we think is going to be a capitalistic setup and take our bet and say, hey, people aren't going to get. My thought was there's a lot of people out there who they're going to make money off coronavirus, but they're also saying they're afraid of, of actually testing the system.
Right.
In the capitalistic side of it. Right. It's like, and why they won't run the play on the capitalistic side.
Well, because everything's jerry-rigged.
Well, because
you mentioned seeing the article. I saw it too, where some company is going to charge insurance rates extra for spouses that are not vaccinated.
A health company is going to charge $2,400 a month because their spouses, other people's employees' spouses are vaccinated.
And so again, zoom out somewhat on this. It's like indicate. So there's a news story just came out. Was it today? I don't know, but more Americans have died of COVID this year than in all of 2020.
This is from Johns Hopkins.
Okay.
So
this
last year,
ABC News.
Yep.
Okay.
352,000 people died last year. Of course, with or from, it doesn't matter.
Whatever.
Right. This year, let them have it.
Yeah.
This year, now to this point, that was 2020.
Yeah. October, whatever.
Here we are in October,
6th.
and now 353,000 people died.
Right.
So apparently about.
So, and here's the point though, is this is with the vaccine.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, so like just take the rhetoric, take it all hook, line, and sinker. Right. This is a solution. It's effective. Whatever. You just told us that more people have died
this year
than last year when you didn't have the vaccine.
That's right.
Okay, and
it's all the unvaccinated people, though, Pastor. That's what it is.
353,000
unvaccinated.
You said Vermont
people. So Vermont is the highest vax state in the union right now.
97%.
So do we have a union? Can I say union?
You can.
Just and they're about years. They're about 70%. And what was funny was someone was at New York or New Jersey health inspector said we need to reach the 70% vaccine mark and we're out of this pandemic.
Right.
So someone in the Northeast, I can't remember who said it.
Well,
and
Biden's not saying that.
They're watching Vermont. Vermont's spiking right now.
Right.
In COVID related hospital visits. And now that they've hit the 70% vaccination point, they're like, oh, this is not enough.
So
I just want to say
that my point was, go ahead.
If we were on YouTube, we'd be canceled right now.
Yeah, but we're on Rumble, we're on our app, and we're on Facebook.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
So my point was with all of this is, people, and maybe with people with the vaccines generally have a lower death rate. Maybe it's not as severe of a case. I don't know. But why is nobody trying to play the odds that this is just a
like the free market odds?
This is a bad flu.
Yeah, because people are afraid. And this is what I was meaning earlier. Like right now, the market, the social media market, the advertising market, the public narrative is that if you catch COVID, you are going to die. That is the public narrative. And so even people who don't believe that,
despite the fact that millions have gotten it.
That's right.
And we're like, oh, really?
99.97.
But even so, those people who know better, those people who are healthy, everybody who, once they get it, they all have the thought because they've had the narrative running in their head this whole time. If you catch COVID, you're going to die. If you catch COVID, you're going to die. If you catch COVID, you're going to die. And so when they catch COVID and they get a little bit, what do?
They go to the hospital.
This is death.
Don't worry about pre-treatments. Let's go to the hospital.
I've got death. And so they run in fear to the hospital because they've already heard the narrative. And it doesn't matter the other narrative here. We're not winning the narrative that you have an immune system that can actually fight off COVID. We are not winning that narrative. No. That narrative has been lost. And so if you're an insurance company, if you're a health company like this company, and you're like, do I want to try and take a bet on the people's fear or the truth? Right. Well, you're going to bet on the fear.
Right. But if the truth will out long term, ultimately, the truth outs.
Yeah.
The truth wins.
Absolutely.
Where is the hospital out there that's willing to just say, we ain't playing?
I don't think they exist.
You should take your vitamins. If you need a little bit of extra help, come see us.
We'll give you some ivermectin.
We'll give you the ivermectin. We'll give you the what's the other one? The
hydroxychloroquine.
We'll give you the Z-Pack.
Yep.
We'll give you the zinc treatment. Where's the hospital that's willing to do that?
I'd like to know.
There's too much pressure, and there's too much government entanglement in those hospitals anyways.
Here's what I believe. I believe you have doctors that are out there like that.
Yeah.
I don't believe you have hospitals out there like that.
Yeah.
Because they've done what government school and education has done. They've tied themselves so much to the needs.
It is a tapeworm.
Yeah.
You're right.
You're
You're
right.
right. It's a tapeworm.
It's attached too much, if it needs, to the paternal relationship of the government.
That's right.
They can't make a statement without daddy getting on them.
That's
Almost
right.
like
and we're going to hit Project Veritas here right now, where there's a bunch of Pfizer scientists who are behind the scenes speaking to Project Veritas, not knowing it, and they're talking about the antibodies. But before we get there, real quick, related to this, my wife went to a hardware store to get ivermectin for our horses. Last week, and they made her sign a letter, or made her sign paper saying that it was not going to be used for human consumption.
Ain't none of your business.
It was unbelievable, but this is how much the pressure is just going out.
I know.
It's going out to our local hardware store.
Do I have to sign something like that when I go get gasoline? Hey,
you
I just want to make sure
you aren't going to drink it, are you?
Can't be drinking this.
All right, so check out Project Veritas and what's going on over there.
Virus, so your antibodies are probably better at that point than the vaccination.
Nick Carl is an experienced biochemist at Pfizer with a history of working in the pharmaceutical industry. Nick admits to our undercover journalist that those who've had COVID have stronger immunity than those who've received the Pfizer COVID vaccine.
When somebody is naturally immune, like they got COVID, they probably have better, like not better, but more antibodies against the virus. Because what the vaccine is like I said, that protein that's just on the outside. So it's just one antibody against one specific part of the virus. When you actually get the virus, you're going to start producing antibodies against like multiple pieces of virus. And not only just like that outside portion, like the inside portion, the actual virus. So your antibodies are probably better at that point than the vaccination.
Unless you get the Pfizer booster shot. Right?
Well, you were explaining this to me earlier. I've forgotten about this, but Dr. Ryan Cole, when he was on our show, was explaining this. It's like a bicycle tire?
Yeah, he says kind of like a bike. So, the vaccine is made to recognize the bicycle tire, the outer spokes of the bicycle tire.
Not the whole bike.
Not the whole bike. Right. Just that front wheel. That front wheel is made to recognize that. But let's say that front wheel crashes into something.
Right.
Well,
the virus mutates.
The vaccine itself only sees that front tire. It can't do anything to the handlebars, to the seat, to the pedal, to the back tire.
Your immune response would only recognize the tire, not the rest of the bike.
But if you have natural immunity, if you had COVID, then what happens is your body recognizes the handlebars, the seat, everything.
That's what this guy's saying.
That's exactly what he's saying.
And more people would have heard Ryan Cole if they wouldn't cancel guys like him when they said stuff like this months ago. Right. Ryan Cole has been saying this for a long time.
Yeah.
And no one wants, it's hard to even get we're getting kicked off of Twitter and YouTube. Because we say things that a doctor has said in response to what he's seeing. But you know what's interesting to me is not only that he's saying this. Do you have the other clip from Dr. Cole too?
Let's
go to that one, because I think that clip right there.
Laboratory after people get these shots, we're seeing a very concerning locked-in low profile of these important killer T cells that you want in your body. It's almost a reverse HIV. In HIV, you lose your helper T cells, your CD4 cells. In this virus post-vaccine, what we're seeing is a drop in your killer T cells, your CD8 cells. And what do CD8 cells do? They keep all other viruses in check. What am I seeing in the laboratory? I'm seeing an uptick of herpes family viruses. I'm seeing herpes. I'm seeing shingles. I'm seeing mono. I'm seeing a huge uptick in human papillomavirus in the cervical biopsies and the cervical pap smears in women. In addition to that, there's a little infectious bump that kids get called molluscum contagiosum. What do you need to keep that in check? You need CD8 killer T cells. I am seeing a 20 times increase in individuals over the age of 50 of this little bump and rash. That's innocuous, but what it tells me is the immune status of these individuals who've gotten the shot. We're literally weakening the immune system of these individuals. Now, most concerning of all is there's a pattern of these types of immune cells in the body that keep cancer in check. Well, since January 1, in the laboratory, I've seen a 20 times increase of endometrial cancers over what I see on an annual basis.
That's
January 2021. That's when the vaccine was getting 1 million a month.
right.
That's when it was scaling up big time.
Here's what scares me. Dr. Cole was right about this and has been right about this. And he's not worried about, he's not like a hospital
Right.
who has the government behind them, funded them because
He's a
of the
laboratory,
paternal
private
setup.
laboratory. Yeah.
No, he is his own individual private setup,
Yeah.
and he's doing the work, and he's doing it over and over again every day, and he's looking at it over years, right? He's calculating, and he's saying, wait a second, whatever's going on with this vaccine is having a counter reaction to how people's natural immunity is working.
Right.
And he's not allowed to say this because social media is putting a block on him.
That's right.
Well, what does that do to the actual individuals who need to know this information? If you're not allowed to even talk about this, let alone study it.
Right.
And here's what I think is going on here. I don't think you could not care about human life in America for the last 50 or 60 years.
Right.
And think all of a sudden people are going to care about your health and your rights here in America.
Right.
What we're getting is a my body liberal form of pro-choice legislation. That's what we're getting. And so they're using social media to crack down on it, and they're legislating against your ability to actually be able to help your own self. They don't mind killing people.
Yeah.
Well, the ideology, I mean, the whole Roe versus Wade ideology is that we have the right and really fully, I mean, it's couched as a woman's right to choose, but really what we're talking about is it's society's right
to choose.
That's
That's right.
Society's right to say there are certain things that are more important than human life. That's the ideology.
Yeah.
Well, you can't go on saying that for 50 years. There are certain things more important than human life.
Yep, that's right.
And then come up against a virus and then not be consistent with that ideology.
Right.
That's the faith that we've been professing for a while.
Right.
And so that's what's happening here is that there are other things that are trumping the importance of human life. And that's what's going on.
But I'm sorry, what are you gonna do? Something? You had one more clip you want to play? Are you done, Gabe?
Are you done?
yet?
I'm waiting right now. People are being silenced when they speak out. Sage Steele.
Yeah.
I just watched the clip of her talking about.
She's the ESPN.
She's been there for 13 or 14
Yep.
years, and she went on a show, Jay Cutler's show, Uncut, and just basically she hit all the sacred gods. She threw a rock at women.
Do you think she knew she was doing that?
No, I don't. I only think she knew she was doing one thing, and that was when she talked about the virus. But she talked about women and dress, and she basically said, listen, yes, the industry was rough for me. It's been kind of crazy dealing with men, but hey, I brushed it off and kept doing my thing. Also, us women got to take responsibility for how we dress. And she made that statement and said, hey, I ain't trying to remove the responsibility of the guys, but us women, we know why we put that dress on, right? So we got to take some responsibility. They didn't like that. She talked about Obama and his biracial setup. Basically, she said, I'm biracial. I want to acknowledge that. I got a black dad and a white mom. I want to acknowledge that. And she talked about being on The View and the girls coming at her because she's not claiming to be black. Because she's like, no, I'm black and white. And say, well, Obama, he marks black on his census.
Right.
She's like, okay, cool. He gets to do that.
Good for him.
But what she did was, she said, just because he does that, I don't understand why, his black dad wasn't in his life and he marked black when his white mom has been in the whole time. That doesn't, and so they took that and took a hit. And then the last one was she got the vaccine.
Right.
Because she had to. She said, I was forced to. She said it was
She said she felt defeated.
Yes. And watching her go through this, her voice was breaking a little bit.
Yeah, I know. She looked like she's about to cry.
Yeah, and she didn't even say anything I thought that was super bold, except the fact that,
She said the mandate was sick and scary.
Right.
That's
The
right.
mandate.
Oh.
She said, I respect your choice. You do what you want to do. But
Right.
the mandate was sick and scary. She's on leave now.
Yeah, well.
Is she really?
Well, after she got the vaccine, She ends up with COVID.
Yeah. Well, but they're not even talking about that. This is NPR. It says ESPN anchor Sage Steele's off the air after her comments on vaccines and Obama.
Yeah, some of them are talking. Everybody's been choosy on what they decide to say. But she got COVID and they gave her leave.
No,
and they said at least a week out.
The statement says, at ESPN, we embrace different points of view. Dialogue and discussion makes this place great. That said, we expect that those points of view be expressed respectfully in a manner consistent with our values and in line with our internal policies. We are having direct conversations with Sage, and those conversations will remain private.
Respectfully.
Yeah.
What was disrespectful about her comments? This is like Doug's point the other day on his article, where he said, look at some of our friends who've been nice, and look at them getting attacked.
Right? Yeah.
And then look at our polemical. Yeah, we're serrated here in Moscow. We're polemical.
It's nothing to do with how nice you say it.
That's right.
And Sage came out as well with an apology afterwards, which I was really disappointed.
She apologized?
I was very disappointed with that. But what she found out was that she wasn't immune to that. Right? And they are going to make an example of her to say you don't get a chance to talk out.
There is herd immunity at ESPN.
But here's the thing.
Not that kind.
Not that kind.
They're immune to the truth.
Here's something. Here's what the reality of this is. This is what I've been watching. It's not just with Sage, but it's with all of us. For 13 to 14 years, she's been working at ESPN. She's probably made a lot of money there. And she's not at the point in her career, she hasn't been building anything to a point that she can say what she wants to say and walk off the set and say, I'm fine with where I'm at.
That's right. That's right.
And that's the problem.
Yeah,
she hasn't insulated herself enough to be able to say what she needs to say and walk away.
And the same is true with the Christian church.
That's right.
No, Christians have not been living faithfully such that they can say what they need to say and walk off the stage.
Well, and we aren't thinking clearly. You read through, I've been reading through Corinthians, and it's kind of the first 5 chapters, like Paul keeps talking about judgments. Don't judge this, judge this. Don't
Right.
And
learn how to make distinctions. Yeah,
making distinctions on what to judge and what not to judge. Then you get to 1 Corinthians 6, and he says, "Don't you know that you're going to judge the world,
judge angels,
and you're going to judge angels?" And Christians are not thinking clearly. We don't know what biblical judgments look like. I mean, as we're talking through the hospital stuff, it's complicated. It takes a lot to sort through it. We're trying to figure out, okay, what incentives are causing people to make certain decisions? Why are hospitals not speaking up? Is it because of all the government money they're getting or not? Is it because they're cowards or not?
Or they're afraid.
Of
losing their jobs or of dying.
But I'm convinced and Pastor, maybe you can fill this out a little more as what you were saying with the church, but I'm convinced the reason for the church has nothing to do with money. I don't believe it does. I think for them it has to do with how the world views them.
It has to do with money.
You think it has to do with money?
I think it's both.
Really? Where's the church getting the money from the government?
Well, some of them are getting PPP money, but
that's true.
But I think it has to do with just prestige and respectability.
I think that's the biggest thing.
But that has to do with money. It's not disconnected.
You said prestige and money are running the same.
Mammon is comfort. Mammon is being
world economy.
Pay your bills. Have a second car. Take that vacation. Send your kids to the nice school.
Yeah.
So it's. I'm not saying it's money like I need to be, Bezos or, billionaire.
Right.
But I think it has to do with comfort.
So we can't go to the places that we used to go to.
I got a nice house.
Yeah.
I got a couple nice cars.
Country club.
I can go on a vacation.
People like me.
I got a little, people like me. That's our gods. Those are our idols.
That's what I believe.
That's our idols.
Yeah.
And in order to be successful in this world, you have to make at least a little bit of money.
Yeah.
You got to have enough people coming to your church. You can't have people canceling you.
Right.
That's the issue. And I think we have no idea what a Christian pastor is. Yeah. We have no idea what a Christian leader is anymore. Read your Bible. Which one of those Christian leaders in the Bible had a cush job?
John the Baptist. He ate locusts and honey.
Yeah. Right. That's what I'm saying.
Bars.
None of them. None of them. You don't have a Christian leader who has a cush job. Every one of them gives it up, is willing to give it up, lays it down.
Hosea. Wait, hold on. Sorry.
You still can't find one. Daniel.
Come on.
Daniel. The lion's den was pretty comfy.
He was in Babylon. No, but we don't have Christian leaders. And so we don't have the sheep are following the shepherds.
Yeah.
And the shepherds have not been leading. And I take that back. They're leading.
The wrong way.
They're leading the wrong way. They're saying, hey, keep your head down. You got to have a good witness, have a good testimony, be nice, say it nice. No, you're not saying it nice enough. You couldn't say it nicer than Sage Steele said it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, allowing for everybody to make their own decisions about how they feel about it.
Has nothing to do with how nice you are.
Yeah,
has everything to do with whether you're going to follow Jesus no matter what. You're going to tell the truth no matter what, and you don't care about the consequences. There's the reason why Jesus said, if you want to follow him, you need to take up your cross and follow him. You need to be willing. I mean, he says in one place, if you don't hate your father and mother, your wife and your children, and your life also, you cannot be his disciple.
Pastor,
you can't. You have to hate them. I mean, compared to your love for Jesus and the truth and following him, your love for the kingdom, it will come off as hatred of your family. And your people will say, but don't you love me?
Yeah.
Don't you love me? You say, I love you, yes, but I have to follow Jesus. He's more important than even my blood relatives.
Yeah.
My reputation, my job. You have to follow Jesus like that. Right before we started recording, Knox, you asked the question, when do people say, hey, maybe this is all from God, maybe we should repent?
Just give it up.
All right, God.
Because it's like get the vaccine, you still get it.
Yeah,
the vaccine, you still get fired.
Science isn't figuring it out.
Take the money, you still shut up.
Yeah, right.
Like you can't win for trying.
That's right.
Right, you can't win for trying, and it's because God is chasing us. This is from God. That's right. This is a plague from God. And you can't and here's the thing, the glorious thing is that because God is God and he deals out judgments personally, there are some believers who for very good reasons and by faith believed that the best way they could follow Jesus was to get the vaccine.
Yeah.
And God will protect their lives.
That's right. That's right.
And I'm not saying it in some kind of magical way.
No, I know what you're saying.
God's blessing is going to be on him. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because in Goshen, God's blessing's there.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not saying the vaccine is a plague. I'm not saying the plague is the plague. God is sending the plague.
Yeah.
And it's economic plagues, it's vaccine plagues, it's virus plagues, it's fear plagues.
Yeah.
All of it. But the flip side is that people who rush to the vaccine as their savior, what's happening? Well, we don't even know what's happening. Cancer's breaking out.
Yeah, exactly. We have no idea.
It reminds me of, it's like, I mean, my answer to your question is, if you read the stories, people don't say, "Oh, this is God. Maybe we should stop." I mean, that's the sad part. Pharaoh's
more poopy water.
But Pharaoh's magicians, it takes them 3 or 4 plagues, and they're multiplying. First of all, it's interesting in the Exodus story that they can reproduce the plagues.
Yes,
can't make them go away.
Can't make them go away. Yeah, poopy water.
You are a lot of help. Thank you, magicians of Pharaoh.
That's right.
And by the 3rd or 4th one, they say, "This is the finger of God. You probably should stop." And Pharaoh's, no, I'm not going to stop. They don't usually stop. But here's the thing. I mean, what are they doing? They're making it worse.
Yeah. That's right.
And that's frequently what our man-made solutions are the solutions where we defy the living God and we say, we are God, we control our destiny, we can control life, we can control the economy, we can control freedom. That's what Pharaoh's magicians did.
Yeah. Remember when we had Doug on, we were doing a show every day during when the pandemic first started in March and April, and we had Doug on and he quoted Hebrews 12, and he said, the phrase is yet to come once more indicates the removal of all things that are shaken. That is, the things which have been made, in order that the things that cannot be shaken may remain. Right. And I think we've really seen a lot of that this last year, where there's a lot of things that have been shaken. Economies have been shaken. Different organizations have been shaken. Our medical health care, the churches have been shaken, so that the things that will remain. And in the midst of all this shaking that God is doing, I'm seeing our friends. I'm seeing who's going to fight with us.
Yeah.
I'm seeing who's going to be shaken and remain.
And here's the deal: these are like pre-quake tremors.
Oh yeah,
this isn't.
It hasn't even hit hard.
This hasn't even. Not even close.
No,
we're still at the beginning.
Yeah,
of this.
You still got your house.
Yeah, that's right. You haven't even begun.
You still got your regular income coming in.
Yeah. Yeah. This is why faithfulness matters, because if God is doing this, whose hands do you want to be in? The hands of man or the hands of God? That's Faithful people will be in the hands of God. So if you're single, get married, and if you're married, have kids. If you have kids, go baptize them. Until Sunday, love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. Love your neighbor as yourself. Go fight, laugh, and feast. This is Cross Politic.